Book of Heaven, Volume 14. 17th to the 26th of February 1922. Page 6 to 12. February 17, 1922. Love is the cradle of man. I felt oppressed because of the privation of my sweet Jesus, and I did nothing but call him, desire him, but in vain. After much hardship, when I could take no more, he came. Who knows how many things I wanted to tell him, but he rose up high without giving me time, and I looked at him and called him, Jesus, Jesus, come. He too looked at me, and he let a dew rain upon me from his person, which beaded all of me. This dew drew him toward me, in such a way that he lowered himself toward me and told me, "My daughter, the desire of the soul to see me tears the veil which exists between time and eternity, and her repeated desire makes her take flight to come close to me. My love is almost restless when I see that the soul yearns for me, and I do not make myself seen. And only then does she calm herself when I not only make myself seen, but I give her new charisms and new pledges of love. My love is always in the act of wanting to give new pledges of love to the creature, and as soon as it sees that my will takes the operating and directing role of giving itself to the creature, my love makes feast, runs, flies toward her, and becomes the cradle of man. And if it sees that she does not rest in its cradle, it rocks her and sings for her, to make her rest and sleep on its lap. And while she sleeps, it breathes into her mouth to give her new life of love. If it sees from her interrupted breath that her heart is not happy, by sending her its breath, my love forms the cradle for her within her heart so as to take bitternesses, hindrances and bothers away from her, and make her happy with love. And when she wakes up, oh, how my love rejoices in seeing her reborn, happy and full of life. It says to her, "See, I rocked you on my lap to give you rest. I kept vigil at your side during your sleep, so that you might wake up strong, happy, and completely different from the one you were. Now I want to be a cradle for your steps, for your works, for your words, for everything. Think that you are being rocked by me, and place your love in the cradle of my love, so that, identifying ourselves with each other, we may make each other happy. Be careful not to put anything else, otherwise you will sadden me, and will make me cry bitterly. My love is that which comes closest to man. Even more, it is the cradle in which he was born, although everything is in harmony in my divinity, just as the members are in full harmony with the body. Even though the intelligence takes on the directing role, in which the will of man resides, if he does not want, one can say that the eye does not see, the hand does not work, the foot does not walk. On the other hand, if he wants, the eye sees, the hand works, the foot runs, all members place themselves in accord. The same with my divinity. My will takes on the directing role, and all the other attributes place themselves in full harmony in order to follow what my will wants. Therefore, wisdom, power, science, goodness, etc., concur. And since all of my attributes, although distinct among themselves, live in the fount of love and overflow with love, this is why, while it is love that runs, acts and gives itself, all of my other attributes concur with it. Furthermore, that which is most necessary to man is love. Love is like bread for the natural life. One can do without science, power, wisdom, or at most, these are things which one wants in time and circumstance. But what would one say if I had created man and did not love him? Besides, why create him if I were not to love him? It would be a dishonor for me, and a work unworthy of me, who can do no other thing but love. And what would happen to man if he did not have an origin of love and could not love? He would be a brute, and unworthy even to be looked at. Therefore, love must run in everything. Love should run in all the human actions, just as the image of the king circulates in the currency of a kingdom, and if the coins are not marked with the image of the king, they are not recognized as currency. In the same way, if love does not run in a work, it is not recognized as my work. February 21, 1922. Love makes one die and live continuously, to give life to the beloved and form one single life. Continuing in my usual state, my always adorable Jesus, on coming, told me, "My daughter, my love toward the creature made me die in every instant. The nature of true love is to die and live continuously for the beloved. The love of wanting her with oneself makes one feel death, and causes a martyrdom, perhaps of the most painful and prolonged. However, love itself, stronger even than death, gives one life at the very instant in which he dies, but to do what? To give life to the loved one, and form one single life with her. Those flames have the virtue of consuming one life to fuse it within the other. This is precisely the virtue of my love, to make me die, and form many seeds from my consummation, to place them in the hearts of all creatures, so as to make me rise again and form with them one single life with me. Now, you too can die, who knows how many times for love of me, and maybe in every instant. Every time you want me and do not see me, your will feels the death of my privation, and it does in reality, because as you do not see me, your will dies because it does not find the life it looks for. However, after it has consumed itself in that act, I am reborn in you, and you in me. And you find the life you wanted, but to return to die once again in order to live in me. In the same way, if you desire me, your unsatisfied desire feels death, but as I make myself seen, it finds its life again. And so, your love, your intelligence, your heart, can be in continuous act of dying and living for me. If I have done this for you, it is only fair that you too do it for me. February 24, 1922. The cross of one who lives in the divine will becomes similar to the cross of Jesus. As I was in my usual state, my always adorable Jesus made himself seen in the act of taking up his cross and placing it on his most holy shoulders, and he told me, "My daughter, when I received the cross, I looked at it from top to bottom, to see the place that each soul would take in my cross. Among so many of them, I looked with more love and I paid a more special attention to those who would be resigned, and would live in my will. I looked at them, and I saw their cross, long and large just as mine, because my will made up for all that their cross lacked, making it longer and larger like mine. Oh, how your long cross stood out! So very long because of many years of bed, and suffered only to fulfill my will. My cross existed only to fulfill the will of my celestial Father, and yours, to fulfill my will. One gave honor to the other, and since both of them had the same measure, they blended together. Now, my will has the virtue of softening hardness, of soothing bitterness, of extending and enlarging short things. So, when I felt the cross upon my shoulders, I felt the softness and the sweetness of the cross of the souls who would suffer in my will. Ah! My heart heaved a sigh of relief, and the softness of the crosses of these souls made my cross adapt to my shoulders, sinking too much into it as to make me a deep wound, and although it gave me a sharp pain, I also felt the softness and the sweetness of the souls who would suffer in my will. And since my will is eternal, their suffering, their reparations, their acts, ran within each drop of my blood, in each wound, in each offense. My will made them be as though present at the offenses of the past, from the moment the first man sinned up to the present and future offenses. They were the ones who returned to me the rights of my will, and for love of them, I decreed redemption. And if others enter into it, it is because of these souls that they partake in it. There is no good I concede, either in heaven or on earth, which is not because of them. February 26, 1922. How Jesus covered us with beauty in redemption. I was thinking about the great good that Jesus has done to us by redeeming us, and he, all goodness, told me, "My daughter, I created the creature beautiful, noble, with eternal and divine origin, full of happiness and worthy of me. Sin ruined him from top to bottom, it made him decay from his nobility, it deformed him, and rendered him the most unhappy creature, unable to grow, because sin stopped his growth and covered him with wounds, such as to be repugnant to the mere sight. Now, my redemption ransomed the creature from sin, and my humanity acted just like a tender mother with her newborn baby. Since there is no other food with which she can give life to her baby, she opens her breast and attaches her baby to it, and from her own blood, converted into milk, she administers to him the nourishment to give him life. More than mother, my humanity made many holes be opened in itself by blows of lash, which, almost like many breasts, sent out rivers of blood, so that my children, by attaching themselves to them, might suckle the food to receive life and develop their growth. With my wounds I covered their deformities, rendering them more beautiful than before. And if, in creating them, I made them like clearest and noble heavens, in redemption I adorned them, studding them with the most refulgent stars of my wounds so as to cover their ugliness and make them more beautiful. To their wounds and deformities I attached the diamonds, the pearls, the jewels of my pains in order to hide all their evils and clothe them with such magnificence as to surpass their state of origin. Therefore, it is with reason that the Church says, "Fortunate fall," because with sin came redemption, and my humanity did not only nourish them with its blood, but clothed them with its own person, and adorned them with its own beauty. But now my breasts are always full to feed my children. What will not be the condemnation for those who do not want to attach themselves to them to receive life, to grow and to have their deformities covered?